What's up YouTube, and welcome back to another gear review. My name is Theo, and today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on a very special flashlight in my collection called the Omicron. The Omicron is a custom flashlight designed and machined by George Kemenes right out of San Diego, California. Now, that's pretty cool because it's actually the state I happen to reside in. George has done a lot of mind-blowing work in the past, which includes some of the smallest and functional flashlights in existence. To my knowledge, he is currently working on a 10440 custom flashlight, but the scope of today's review will be on the Omicron. In terms of build quality, this little guy is up there with the likes of some of the best in the EDC world. If it means anything, I put it on par with my CRK Sebenza 21 and Felhalter Tiny Bolt. There's little question that this is a premium flashlight, and I hope I've assuaged any lingering doubts about that. Here it is next to some similar flashlights. First up is a Veleno 38DD, a flashlight that was really ahead of its time. Next, I've got a Mech Army Illuminex in copper here. This is more your standard 10180 flashlight these days. You can see that the Omicron is slightly longer, but also much thinner relative to the other two. If we open this guy up, you can see the 10180 battery it houses. Because of the extreme tolerances, only select 10180 batteries will work with the Omicron. The Mech Army battery I've got here is the perfect fit though. Something I would have liked to have seen is captive USB charging, because as it is, you need to charge the 10180 outside of the flashlight using a special charger. I should also note that by the nature of the battery, you're not going to be getting insane run times. The Omicron definitely isn't by any means a primary flashlight. Like most flashlights of this size, the Omicron operates as a twisty. I was a little concerned at first about how the flashlight operates, but I've gotten used to it. Something a little bit more unique to this flashlight is that it's got a programmable driver. I currently have it programmed to moonlight, low, medium, high, simply because this is what works for me, but there's a lot of other options. In this video, you can see me change the mode group. To make it easier, I turn the tail cap to the point just where it's about to turn on the light, and use light pressure from my finger instead to actuate it. This is just a nifty little trick, but it's nice to know. The mode group I've selected in this video is the first one, low, medium, high, which is actually the one that George programs by default. The driver also has overheat protection, which is a nice touch. In all honesty though, I haven't touched the programming since getting the flashlight and dialing it in myself. I know it matters to flashlight geeks like myself, so I'll show you guys a quick water test. Bear in mind that this doesn't mean much. Any flashlight that has good O-ring seals should be able to pass a dunking, and this is only a few inches of water. George also doesn't specifically say his flashlight is waterproof for warranty purposes, but I have swam with the flashlight on several occasions. This test is more so a statement, or a testament, to the extreme tolerances that this flashlight is built to. I can't imagine the work it must take to build something this small and yet so devoid of flaw. With that said, if you're going to do this with a twisty flashlight, I do recommend twisting the light on first. I'm all about practical use, I want to elaborate a little bit more on how I use this flashlight in an EDC capacity. Out of all the gear that I own, with the exception of perhaps my watch, this comes closest to being a piece of my EDC that I truly have on me 24/7. And flashlight geek confession here, but most days, especially in the morning to the middle of the day, this is the only flashlight that I have on my person. Of course, I do carry a spare in my backpack because 2 is 1 and 1 is none, but yeah, that's just in case. In this regard, the Omicron is ridiculously practical as a necklight for me. I know that if I carried it on my keychain, it would probably look a lot worse than it does right now. As it is, it does have a few light scratches. I don't know if the camera can pick them up very well, but they do make the Omicron look like a well-used tool in my opinion. Something that I want to highlight upon is the Tritium in the tail. I'll throw up a few pictures that George took because my photography is simply horrid, but this is Tritium on a flashlight done right. And it's well protected from damage, and they're very useful on a flashlight like this in particular. First off, they just look plain cool, as you guys will see from the pictures that I'll throw up. And they add to the functional jewelry aspect of this flashlight. I don't think it's a understatement to call this flashlight a piece of jewelry, almost. Especially when you take into account how much machining, just the build quality and all that good stuff. But yeah, secondly, they're also very helpful as a locator in the dark. With a flashlight this small, it can be very hard to find it if you wake up in the middle of the night and you keep this flashlight on your nightstand or something like that, which I do actually sometimes, so that's just one practical use that I found for it. As you'd expect from a flashlight like this, it's also using a premium emitter. It's a Nichia 219C 4000K. Very nice emitter, great color rendering, and Of course, that's kind of at the sacrifice of brightness, but let's be honest here. Staggering output in a flashlight this small isn't very practical because of the battery capacity. Not only the battery capacity, that is, but also the heat consideration. Something this small will build up heat very quickly, which just isn't good, and titanium itself doesn't conduct heat very well either. Hopefully I've been able to cover the major aspects of this flashlight and why it's such a special little light. Unfortunately, these aren't for sale anymore because once George finishes a run of lights, that's it, and he moves on to the next design. I believe my particular version of the Omicron was about $300, and I've carried it non-stop since the day I've gotten it, and if it lasts me as long as I think it will, I do think I will have gotten my money's worth. Today's video is more about covering a unique custom flashlight that you don't see every day than it was about some of the more popular custom flashlights out there. I do like covering those flashlights, but I also want to review some of the more understated flashlights out there that you don't see a lot. If you found this review informative, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for future videos. Peace out.